It is 12:33 on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. Welcome into today's Community Comment. I'm your host, Kevin Haugen. It is my pleasure to welcome into our Daily Dodge TV studio today our guest here on our program this afternoon. Joining me is Waupun Fire Department Chief B.J. DeMa. Chief, thank you so much for coming in today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Now, we talked a little bit before coming on air today that summer has just blown on by. It's the fall's here, colder weather's on the horizon, but with that time of year is also some important fall fire safety tips. We'll dive a little bit more into that in just a few minutes, but yeah, it's just crazy how fast the last couple of months have gone, and here we are already in the fall this time of year.
Yeah, we were kind of talking ahead of time. You know, in the city of Waupun, we've got a number of summer and early fall festivals that, before you know it, they're all kind of spaced about a month apart. So by the time you get through those three events, we get into our fire prevention week for the year. And that's about a month and a half worth of work and prep, getting ready to talk to all the students and kiddos across the communities.
Yeah, we'll dive more into Fire Prevention Week and, again, fall fire season and some safety tips that go along with that in just a few moments. But if you do have a question for, again, Waupun Fire Chief B.J. DeMa here on Community Comment today, you can call in at 887-9595 or you can text 885-4446 to get into the program this afternoon. But Chief, yeah, let's dive right into it. You mentioned Fire Prevention Week here is just right around the corner. I think you mentioned just first week of October, so that's next week, I believe, already. And you say that's about a full month of prepping. You talk with a lot of kids in the Waupun area. You go into schools. You have groups come into the firehouse and learn from you guys. But just kind of start off just talking about this is the work that goes into preparing for this week and just some of the messages that you share with the youth in the Waupun community.
Yeah, so Fire Prevention Week, it actually aligns whatever week October 9 falls into. That aligns with the Great Chicago Fire back in the late 1800s. Ironically enough, one of the things that we usually talk about with the kids is, especially our older kids, is there was another fire that was burning at the exact same time that was bigger here in the state of Wisconsin. So that was up in Peshtigo, and it was actually a more deadly fire than what the Chicago fire was.
Really? Is it just because obviously Chicago is a bit more populated than Peshtigo that gets kind of more of a claim to fame than the one here in our great state of Wisconsin?
Yeah, probably. Peshtigo obviously a little more rural than the metropolis of Chicago, but so that's always the a little bit of the history behind how Fire Prevention Week came to be in the month of October. So for us, it's a great opportunity. You know, we talk about just fire prevention as a whole. So we start with kids as young as 3K, and we go up to kids as old as 6th grade. And it becomes kind of a show and tell opportunity, especially with the young kids. It's one thing for firefighters to come in. You know, we've got our Class A shirts on, and we look very different when we're just standing in our normal clothes versus when we have all our gear on. So we always want kids to be very comfortable knowing this is what we're going to look like, this is what we're going to sound like. We try to encourage them, don't hide. We want you to answer us if we're in a building and calling for you. So it's a great show and tell opportunities for the younger kids, but we started some very basic things, not playing with lighters and matches, understanding what to do if your clothes ever caught on fire, stop, drop, and roll, the dangers of playing with gasoline and fireworks. And, we really kind of build on that every year. We talk then about smoke alarms in your home, making sure, you're testing them every month, where they should be. We always give the kids, now you get to take homework to your mom and dad. And, we try to give them some responsibility as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned that this is a great opportunity for kids to meet with members of the fire department and get to interact on a level that they get comfortable and familiarized with those members of the fire department, because a lot of times, we talk the same topic with other chiefs in the area. That a lot of times, unfortunately, when you are dealing with members in the community, it's at a time where people they're not thinking straight. There's a lot happening. It's one of the worst days possibly in their entire life, dealing with the house fire and going in there. So being a part of community events like this, I'm sure, is a great way to get your faces out there in the community, see a different side of the fire department, and I'm sure that's a great opportunity for yourself and all the members of the Waupun Fire Department.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the members on our team, they just do just such a phenomenal job interacting with the kids. Some of them certainly warm up to you far quicker than others, but they're so talented at being able to find that way to just get the kids to open up. And, it's kind of funny the weeks after you walk through the grocery store and, you'll see a kid tugging at mom or dad's arm and pointing. And, it was a face that they recognized that had come to the school to talk to them. So you're absolutely right. It's about relationship building. And, we always hope our services are never needed, but in those situations, yes, if it can be a familiar face, that can certainly help ease some of the stress of a very stressful day.
Yeah, and you had hit on a very important note there at the end there that hopefully your service, obviously you're working, and this is something else that we talked about before coming on air, that you work in a career that you're trying to work towards not having to do your job. Essentially, you're working towards not having to deal or go out to house fires or structure fires and put those out. And a big component of that is education and working with the community on safety tips and things to remember and to work towards not having issues where they leave something close to the home that's still lit and still smoldering with embers. And that's one of the huge important notes of Fire Prevention Week is to get that education out to the community, so it prevents situations from having you guys to go out and respond to fires.
Yep, absolutely. And it's again, it's the full gamut of it's the children's education. We're always looking for opportunities as well to be able to engage the adults. Some of the information that we do send home with the students during Fire Prevention Week is very much geared towards the adult learner, and it covers not just fire safety in the house, but it's all types of safety. So, this is a very important week, but we always say as well, Fire Prevention Week shouldn't just be this one time of the year either.
That's good. Yeah, it's a great point that this is something that should be on the forefront of your minds throughout the entire year, just not a 1 month situation. And that's an important takeaway here with, again, Waupun Fire Chief BJ DeMa here on Community Comment today. You mentioned the Fire Prevention Week takes place or coincides with the Great Chicago Fire that took place October 9th. So that, I think I said next week. So is it the following week that Fire Prevention Week takes place where you guys will be out in the community and working with kids and teaching them all those great things?
Yep. So this year, the official week is October 6th through the 12th.
October 6th through the 12th. So again, everyone out there in the Waupun community listening or watching again here on Daily Dodge TV, who's got young kiddos out there, they can expect a visit from members of the Waupun Fire Department. Again, October 6th through the 12th. Also taking place that week is a very important milestone for the Waupun Fire Department, a special anniversary taking place. I don't want to spoil it too much, Chief. I'll let you take it away from here, but what's happening that week as well?
Yeah, so in addition to Fire Prevention Week this year, we will actually be celebrating our 150th anniversary as a department. So back on October 6, 1874, our fire department was, I can't remember the word that the article had used, but that's when the group came together and they were kind of officially confirmed as the city's fire department. So it's been an interesting opportunity to look through some of the pictures of old, working with our historical society to see some of the pictures and newspaper articles that they have on file yet. Some of which go back to the early around the original origins of the department. So, that'll be an exciting night. We're doing that on Monday, October 7. from 5:30 to 8 o'clock. We will have a short presentation at around 6, along with some cake. But again, wonderful opportunity for folks to come down. They'll be able to see all the equipment that we have. We'll have some different demonstrations set up around auto extrication. We'll have a trailer there that'll show the differences between a home that would have a fire sprinkler system in it versus one that does not. Fire extinguisher training, our Survive Alive house will be set up, so be plenty of stuff for the family to do, all ages, to be able to see and touch different stuff.
Fantastic. Now, I might be putting you to the test here, but you mentioned it's been a fascinating dive through history, going back and looking through a lot of the old articles and newspapers surrounding the Waupun Fire Department. Has there been anything that stood out in your mind, or anything that's like, wow, I never knew that? Because how long, Chief, have you been at the Waupun Fire Department now?
Yeah, so I started as a paid on-call member back in 2002. I've been in this role since August of 2014. So, yeah, it goes back a few
Quite a while.
years.
So in your time in the last, I mean, obviously you knew this anniversary was coming for quite some time now, but maybe really work didn't start in earnest until maybe a couple weeks ago to really get prepared and start diving into the history of the Waupun Fire Department. And during that process, has there been anything that stood out to you that's like, wow, again, I didn't know that this had happened here where I have been working for the last 20 plus years, or anything of interest of note that you had discovered while looking into the past?
Yeah, no, I think the biggest thing for me and for the members of the committee has been just how the equipment has changed through the years. The trucks are obviously bigger. We've kind of talked earlier about the fact that it's not just a fire department anymore. It's kind of a multi-hazard department in terms of the things that we respond to. So vehicles are bigger. There's much more equipment on there. To see how technology changes. So some of our turnout gear, how that looks very different from, you go back to even the 60s, 70s, where it was essentially glorified rain gear. A long raincoat, you had 3/4 high hip boots, and that's what you went into the fire with. So it's changed a lot in terms of the equipment, especially.
Now, will a lot of those pieces that you guys have been digging up and finding here, will those be on display during this event that people can look through themselves and be able to read the history of the Waupun Fire Department at this open house?
Yeah, we'll have a lot of pictures set up, kind of through the years. Some of the stuff goes back to newspaper articles when we used to have a local newspaper. So they've got some pictures of significant fires that we've had throughout the events. Some of the real early news articles when the department was formed. An interesting article that we had come across back in the day, it was called the Waupun Times, and they had said, the department met, they organized, and if anybody questions the ability for the group to put out a fire, the article essentially says, start your house on fire, and once the firemen put the fire out, they'll talk about what your needs are. So, kind of saying, don't question this group's abilities.
I like it. Again, October 7th, I believe, is that open house.
Yep.
At 5 o'clock is when the doors open.
5:30.
5:30.
Yes.
Fantastic. Again, the phone number here to get on Community Comment today is 887-9595. We do have a caller waiting on line 1. Let's head to the phones and say welcome to Community Comment. Hello, you're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am a Waupun resident.
Oh, go ahead.
I want to express my deep appreciation for the fire chief that we have, the kind of job he does. I think our community is extremely fortunate to have someone who has his knowledge and his expertise, and when there's a fire, he's there, and he doesn't go home early. He stays sometimes from the whole evening into the next morning. He's very, very concerned about someone not getting hurt in the fire or having any people who might not survive the fire. You just can't beat this guy. And when several years ago, when he was considering leaving our area, I thought it would be a very sad day. But then he decided, he changed his mind, and he stayed. And I was so grateful. But just really, really not only appreciate him, but all of the fire department people as well.
Well, thank you for those very kind words, caller. I'm sure Chief appreciates always hearing compliments from the community. Obviously, it doesn't always make the job easier at times, but it does help. I'm sure hearing positive reinforcement from time to time.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
I greatly appreciate the comments, and it really comes down to just it's the team that we've got. It's a struggle some days. There's some calls that sometimes can leave you to question, why did we get called? And at the end of the day, the one thing that we always talk about is, to the individual that's calling in, this is a matter that they need help addressing. And sometimes it can seem like something very simple to us, but it is a big deal to the individual that we're responding to help. So I will certainly pass those comments on to the entire team, because it does.
And thank you all so very much for your service to our community.
Well, thank you again, caller, for calling in and wishing the chief and everyone at the Waupun Fire Department well, and just all the wonderful things and all the hard work that they do. Because again, it's a job that we talked a little bit about before coming on air today as well. That it's at times a thankless job. You guys do an important service for the community, but a lot of times people aren't in the mood to say thank you a lot of times when you're out there at a scene and fighting a fire. So again, I'm sure it does feel good to have those sentiments shared with yourself and the members of the Waupun Fire Department.
Yeah, absolutely. It is good to hear. And again, a testament to the job that the team does every day.
Okay.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's whether it's a fire, whether it's a vehicle accident, most of the time there are so many other thoughts that are going through that individual's mind that, saying thank you at the time, it's an afterthought, and it's nothing intentional.
No, it's nothing that anybody is doing deliberately. Again, it's just the circumstances that people are dealing with on those days, and again, it's always good to hear from people in the community on those things. Again, we are with Waupun Fire Chief B.J. DeMa here on Community Comment. Up next, we want to highlight the high school youth internship program, and just kind of what that does and how that supports what you guys do, and how people can get involved. I'm sure there's maybe that's closed right now, but there's opportunities throughout the year to get involved with that program as well.
Yeah. So one of the programs that we started probably 4 years ago now already is we reached out, we developed a high school intern program. And really what that was, it was an opportunity for high school seniors to spend upwards of usually one class period a day where they would come down to the fire department. They'd have an opportunity to see some of the behind-the-scenes work, so some of the work that the chief and the assistant chief do on a daily basis as it relates to some of the record keeping, some of the budgetary items, fire inspections for our business community, our apartments in town. Again, some of that behind-the-scenes work that maybe isn't quite as visible to our responses into the community. But those individuals also then had an opportunity to be able to attend our training. They attend some of our calls in an observer role. So really trying to give them a good understanding of what is everything that comes along with being a firefighter. Very successful program. Typically, we've had at least one of the two schools participate. We've had an opportunity where both schools had a student that was participating in any given semester or trimester, depending on how the school is set up. This year, though, it's taken a little bit of a different look, and the Youth Apprenticeship Wisconsin, who works through Department of Workforce Development, has now developed what they call a pathway in fire protection, so that students are able to now attend through the Youth Apprenticeship Program. And really what that does is it now gives those students an opportunity to earn high school and college credits through the work that they're doing with the fire department.
Oh, fantastic. Now, is there a place online that people can go to learn more or find out more information about this program?
Yeah, so usually working out or working with their guidance counselors at the high school is probably the best way to begin that conversation. So that's who we usually touch base with in the late summer, early fall every year. Do you have any students that would be interested in doing this? It's an exciting opportunity for the students as well this year.
Great, and it also works, I'm sure, in a way to get people who maybe are interested but don't know if they want to pursue working at a fire department or the firefighting industry as a career opportunity. It gets them in and shows them that maybe this is a route they want to take. And I'm sure you hope that one day it could be with the Waupun Fire Department, but who knows, it could be at a different agency. But it does, I'm sure, work wonders to get people in there and teaches them the ins and outs and what it takes to become a member of a fire department, and ultimately if it is something that they are interested in doing for their career.
Yeah, for sure. We've had a couple of individuals that have started schooling, so their college schooling. We've had a couple of individuals that I'm interested in doing it as a paid on call member when I do eventually graduate. So, kind of along the lines of the recruitment retention sphere, if you will, it does become a good recruiting tool and it really works both ways. We can get them some experience; they can get to know us. On the flip side, we get to know and learn about them. And at the end of the day, the hope is that whether it's with us or another department here in the state or across the country, that it's a win-win for everybody.
Fantastic. Again, we're with Waupun Fire Chief BJ DeMa here on Community Comment today. We just have a few more minutes left on our program this afternoon. I want to spend that time again. We mentioned it at the start of the show, highlighting some fall fire safety tips. Obviously, people are getting the chimneys ready to go here, the fires ready to go. More leaves are going to be burning this time of year. But Chief, what are just a few of the safety tips that we want our listeners and viewers to know as we start to get into the fall months here?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is, we had mentioned that we finally had some rain here over the weekend, so it definitely helps every bit that we can get. But we are coming out of a stretch here where things have been very dry for, I would say, the better part of a month or more. So it does always cause us some concern as we get into the fall fire season. Again, we talked about more dead vegetation on the ground. That can be enhanced by the fact that it has been so dry. So really just encouraging people to exercise some extra caution this year when we talk about outdoor fires, making sure that they're in some type of containment unit, that you have a water source nearby so that if the fire does get out of control, you're able to put it out quickly, making sure that you're around, that you're not just starting the fire and walking away. One of the big things I would say for local fire departments is if you are doing some type of a burning is notifying the dispatch center, whether you're in Dodge County here. Up by us, we're a split community, so we extend into Fond du Lac County as well. But letting those dispatch centers know that, hey, I'm going to be doing a controlled burn. This is my address. This is my contact number. And this is when we expect to do that, can really take a lot of pressure off fire departments in terms of getting paged out for calls that, again, everybody, they leave their jobs, they respond in the trucks only for a vehicle to get out there and say, no, it's a controlled burn, no reason for the fire department to come out.
Yeah, so again, it really is, again, prevention. As we always seem to highlight that one word throughout the day, preventing fires, and then in this case, preventing fire department and firefighters to come out and not have to get all suited up and respond to a situation that does not need their assistance at that time. So, so again, if you check where you live, if you're calling either Dodge County or Fond du Lac County dispatch centers, be sure to report those things to the proper authorities as well. But with just about a minute left on community comment today, Chief, I just want to give you one more time to highlight the open house that's coming up here, just some of the times and dates for that as well, so our listeners and viewers, again, can be sure to put that on their calendar and head out to Waupun to be a part of that special day.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Monday, October 7 from 5:30 to 8, we will be celebrating our 150th anniversary. So going to be lots of stuff for the kids, for adults, everybody to do and see. So we encourage folks, come on out, see what it's about.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, I want to thank our guest here on Community Comment today. Again, joining me this afternoon is Waupun Fire Chief B.J. DeMont. Chief, again, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks, Kevin.
And that will do it for today's Community Comment.